Welcome ladies and gentlemen, I am SocioPsycho, and today we are going to look at Another Perspective by Sean J.S. This is a puzzle platformer with some story involved, available for PC, and unfortunately there's no love for our Mac or Linux users. Whether you are interested in a full review or just one subject, the video bar will allow you to choose from what you wish to have. Is this game good or is it bad? We will seek to answer these questions, and first we will start in the options menu. The game starts in the full screen mode, and it doesn't have any screen resolutions, and while it may have black borders on the left and right side, I haven't found these issues to be detrimental to the game. The atmosphere the game holds and the style of world it is never made it so that the screen resolution was an issue, and the darkness helped add to the atmosphere instead of taking away from it. Lights and shadows, the game is very graphically basic, and not all that large to begin with, although it utilizes what it does very well, and there hasn't been any issues. The game has been running smoothly at 60 frames per second with no crashing or any other issues that I have noticed. The music is very important because the music helps propel an atmosphere of a world, and while there's no slider on that, I never found it to be overly loud or too annoying in any fashion, and it helps propel and tell the story as you go through the puzzling of the game. Another thing to note in the options menu is the fact that there are no rebindable keys. It's simply the arrow keys to move, the shift key to change perspectives into another characters, and the R key to restart the level. I haven't had any issues with it, but if rebindable keys are serious for your purchase, then this is to be of note. Now when you go to the main, you'll also have a mystery option, and this mystery option is pretty much a continuation of puzzles, best done after you finish the game. Once you finish the game, which is relatively short, I beat it in about 2 hours, the mystery will offer more puzzles to you, which do not have a story perspective, but are just more increased difficulty, which is nice. It offers a larger variation of puzzles at a harder scale. Now when we go into the game is simplistic in its mechanics. The whole point of it is to get your character from point A to point B being the door that's locked. Now how to unlock this door simply comes down to grabbing all the keys on each of the maps. Once you have all the keys, the door will become unlocked and you're able to pass through it. In each map, there'll be a different perspective character which will be grayed out. Now when you toggle in between these different characters, the level design will be different as well. So where one area somebody could walk, another viewpoint perspective-wise of the other character will see no path and able to walk there. And so if they try, they'll fall through and die because there's nothing there to stop them. The platforming in the game is a collaboration of the usage of the different perspectives of your characters, and it also ties in nicely with the puzzle element. The platforming is pretty much just simply jumping and side moving upon your characters. There's really no in-depth platforming in the game, and that's okay because the game works around that and it doesn't end up being a negativity and more of a strength. And it relies more on the puzzle aspect because there's different perspectives, and each different perspective has a different layout of a map. It comes down to you as to remember which layout was involved on which character. It's like a game of memory, or as Simon says, rather than having to struggle on finding the cryptic answer to a puzzle. It does it very well to the point where if you are unsure about where to go, you can easily just switch in between the different perspectives and then make your move once you feel confident by it. The different characters and perspective tie into the layout of the game very well, for you need to understand the different layouts and then remember those layouts in a puzzle aspect, and then jump by positioning your characters in the correct manner to therefore get the keys you need to unlock the door and get through it. The theme of the game and the story behind the game is one of confusion. Who am I? Where am I? And you feel like you're losing yourself as you're playing through, trying to keep track of which character is yours and who was going through the door. Did your original character go through the door, or did something else happen? The story helps very well propel this atmosphere, and unfortunately it is not voice acted. I feel that the game could have severely benefited more by having an emotional connection with the people that are playing it if it was voiced. Instead, it's just these texts that really offer no emotional value, and while it is interesting, it does propel the story, and if it was a voice, some of the wording choice would have to be rewritten to fit for a connection emotionally in a dialogue fashion. But what it does well. The story will not sweep you up and make you think epically about your life, but it is enough to entice you to continue playing. The game is challenging for what it is, as sometimes you need to try to figure out the correct path to go, or where exactly you want to position your men. As you switch in between them, one will become gray and the other will not. The mechanics of the game are very simple, and it ties everything together: the atmosphere of the world, the theme of the story, the simplisticness of the platforming, which ties well into the puzzles of being more memorization than trying to figure out a combination, and it's a fun little play. It's $6 on Steam. I've enjoyed my 2 hours. I would have rather been far more emotionally involved in the characters, but unfortunately there's no voice acting. The game is simplistically fun. Can be a little bit of a relaxation should you be interested in the style. It's a game best played going into it feeling like it's going to be a nice, slow, easy playthrough of a casual game that tells a very base story rather than expecting something that was hardcore. For the price point of this game of $6, which I think is very fair to ask, and the amount of enjoyment I've had, the moments where I've had to really think about, okay, wait, if I jump here and then I mess this up, or oh, I mess that up and start over, has never been to the point of frustration, but rather enjoyment of like, hey, come on now, think better. It doesn't reprimand you for being mistaken or bad. It continues to push you to be like, come on, you can do better than that. I know you can do better than that. Come on, you got this. And it's this sort of endearment, which is really nice to see. So I can gladly recommend this game. It may be small, it may be simplistic, but it does it well. As always, I thank you for your viewership, as I've been SocioPsycho, and I'll see you next time.